Margaret Anish Shandor, Mary Siri Carney.
Hirlock, and thank you very much, Minister. I want to commend the work that you have done in the Department of Justice, but also in Minister Helen McEntee. It seems no time ago, in government terms anyway, certainly, since this was announced, and now here we are and commencing this act. So I really welcome that. There is no doubt family court and family proceedings have their own unique flavour, their own unique province, I suppose, because you're dealing with relationships that are in most cases going to have to endure for an entirety of the individual's and the child's life. These are people that you're going to have to engage in. One day you're going to be at your grandchildren's christening together. So having it as harmonious as possible, I'm fortunate to be in a very functioning, loving, blended family. But that is rare enough, which is really unfortunate, because there is either a lack of maturity, there is a huge amount of wounding, but at the heart of it, there is an adversarial system that is not suited to the nature of family proceedings. So there is slow access to the court, and it takes a long time to resolve. And in that time of waiting, it exacerbates people's hurts and their sense of frustration of not being able to move on. I think that in it, I am aware of a couple of things. I suppose, first of all, I would ask, there is an intention. I mean, obviously, this can move very quickly and isn't dependent on the building of a new courts building in Hammond, whatever, as it is promised, Hammond Lane, as it is promised. But do we have any idea of a timeline on that? I think that would be useful, because there is this, which even from a practitioner point of view, where are you? Are you in Smithfield? Are you over in Dauphin House? Are you wherever? And I've had one experience in Dauphin House when I went for guardianship on our daughter, taking my husband, unfortunately consenting to guardianship. And Dauphin House, certainly they need to be upgraded, and they need different facilities, because where you have that intensity of feeling in such a short, tiny space, it only lends to making things incredibly hard. So it is important. So I would ask for a timeline on that. The second thing is, I'm aware that Women's Aid, I think it'll come more to the fore in the committee stage, but Women's Aid have a number of concerns. So I would ask that to make sure that we're engaging with them. Also addressed part of this bill led to a promise on the rates of pay for solicitors in the Legal Aid Board, and I just want to touch on that very briefly, because uniquely, the solicitors who go in and work with the Legal Aid Board don't have the same opportunity to come in at points and grade as you would if you joined the DPP or the CSSO offices. They come in at a starter based on how long they've been working there. And the unfortunate point of that is that it's a fairly low start, low age start. And so you get a rapid turnover of very, very good committed people in there. You won't attract high calibre experienced people, because if they have to take a major wage cut to go in and work in the Legal Aid Board. And the consequence of that is that families don't necessarily, and those who are in need of the solicitors in the Legal Aid Board, don't get the benefit of very experienced people. And the turnover of people that they're dealing with is just too much. It was something that I raised very early on with Minister McEntee, and the view was that within the context of this bill coming into being, that would be looked at. So I think that it is important that happens. Because of the experience lost, so it is very, very important. I suppose family law is so urgent that we move to such a different. I practiced in it for a very, very short period of time and realised very quickly that my aptitude was not in that direction, when I found myself shouting at my client outside the High Court at one point for the manner in which he was leaving his children without funding and without support, and how intolerable I thought that was. And I thought, I can't go in and adequately do this. I would be breaking every vow I ever made when it came to the law. So it's not an area I practice in. But integral to, if we are very much making sure that the best interests of the child are at the heart, I think it is really important that we are supporting that with training and support for practitioners in the area, because the tendency to still write in a very adversarial with an adversarial emphasis would be still there. And I think that it is important that we not only have training and whatever, but that on the other end of it, we also have a complaints mechanism. So I think that there is a necessity to engage with the Bar Council and the Law Society in that regard, to ensure that they are practicing in a different way once this bill comes into being. I'm going to use my last 2 minutes to raise something that is particular to my own heart. And that is in the area of surrogacy. And I know even the officials that are with you today have worked extraordinarily hard in this area. I have asked in this House for an idea of timeline of when the legislative amendments are going to come in, so that they can commence in the committee stage. I've been ruled out of order because frankly we're not allowed to ask that. I just have to find a different way of asking it, because right now, today, there are women up and down this country that don't have access to their children because their children have been weaponised in the breakdown of that family. And today, there are applications to court for those children for the court to take either the child into care or to become within the court, that the court intervenes where unreasonable activity is going on, where the weaponising of the child is just horrific. And while women don't have a right to a parental order to their own child, and same-sex couples, I'm not denigrating, but I happen to be dealing with a number of women at the moment who are allowed to see their child for 1 hour a week supervised, so that will coerce them into settling on the family home or other monies that are owed or something like that. They're really quite horrific. I've read the solicitor's letters and it is outrageous. I have no means of making a complaint because it's an adversarial system. If I did, I would, and the day will come when I will read for these people, because the level, I have people ringing me several times a day on how unjust. So we need to get to a place where the security of that family, the interests of those children who are much wanted, much desired. You have women who are cancer survivors who are now in a place where they're controlled, the access to it's coercive control. It is all of those things as well. But also we have people with terminal diagnoses who don't have a pathway to ensuring that they have the oversight of their children. So I think I would urge given that we are talking about family law, I would urge that you use your good office to accelerate the delivery of the AHR through, and making sure that there isn't a delay when it comes to the establishment of a regulatory authority. There is no reason where there is parental orders in respect of fathers. There is no reason why we have to wait until the establishment of a whole authority, and that we can't make direct applications to the courts, and the courts registrars don't undertake to notify the surrogacy register and donor register in those instances. There's no reason why that couldn't be put in place. It is really important that that happens. Thank you very much.